and welcome to another episode of Silence Hides Violence South Africa. I am Melody Zondo, your host for today, and here we believe that silence is not that golden. A lot of the times when people think about gender-based violence, they think that it is something that happens between two intimate partners, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The LGBTQIA plus community is one of the most marginalized communities in the world that is affected by gender-based violence, but yet we don't talk about it. And so today, I have a very special guest who's going to help me do exactly that. We're going to sit down and we're going to talk about how the LGBTQIA plus community gets affected by gender-based violence, especially here in South Africa, because recently we have seen an increase in the murders of people that belong to this community that is actually directed at them. Please give a warm welcome to Sakhile Madi, a spiritual healer, a LGBTQIA plus community activist, a founder of Isabelo Sama Africa, which is an NPO that helps empower the LGBTQIA community with cases. I mean, the list goes on and on. A director of film and theater. I mean, I'm just counting and counting and counting. Welcome to Silence Hides Violence, and thank you so much for joining us today and for helping us to break the silence on this scourge that we have in our country.
It's a pleasure for me to be here today. It's a pleasure for me to have me today. It's a pleasure for me to be able to have a voice outside there. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm very excited for me to be able to share with the world exactly what's on the ground with the LGBTQIA plus community.
And I think it's very important because a lot of us, we're still very uneducated about the LGBTQIA plus community.
Yes.
And so we need to shed the light,
For
on
sure.
what is happening. And I mean, what better way than, somebody that is part of the community? I think the first thing that we need to do, because I need to make sure that I am addressing you correctly. How do you identify, like on the LGBTQIA community, where are you on the spectrum?
Okay, as I said, my name is Sakhile Madi. And ngizalwa insizwa ebizwa ngesibongo sakwamnguni uyeye yomphakathi awondla ngamandla umzimelo zimelo ngeqwanga umuntu oqwazi inkonjane nguye lo ozele le ntombi le elana namhlanje in the community I'm a lesbian, bush lesbian, which is a lesbian bush is somebody who gets involved with the other lady, which means that I'm a woman who is involved with another woman.
Okay.
Yes.
And so which pronouns do I use for you? Like if I were to address you, do I address you as she? What are you comfortable with?
I'm comfortable with she.
Okay.
Yes, I'm comfortable with she, and I'm comfortable with my nephews and everybody to call me aunt. It depends on an individual how comfortable they are to be called outside there, because some will say no, you must call me malume and all that. For me, I'm straight like that because I don't wanna to have that mix up mind with the kid and everybody in the community who is out there.
At what age were you able to kind of ascertain where you belonged? When did things become clear for you, or did you always know that you were a lesbian?
I think for me, I would like to thank also the spiritual part of it, because also it was in control with me, because I moved out of my sister's house when I was 13, and then I rented a room next door while I was busy at high school selling sweets and so forth. But I didn't understand why. After that, that's when I started liking girls, and now I'm like, I like you, can we please go out and have lunch and so forth. And then after then I had a problem at school now on how I was wearing, because I wasn't wearing what I was supposed to wear, maybe a gym dress with shirt and so forth. I used to wear guys, a shirt with a blazer and a trouser also. So also it became a problem, but I also spoke to the teachers around the school at Westbury High School, they tend to understand me very well. Before, even at home, they could understand me. And then after then, that's when I could understand myself like that, I'm a lesbian, I'm in love with another woman. And then that's where it took off, whereby I started bringing those ladies into the house that I was staying at next door there. And then while I was busy doing that, some of them didn't know that I was a girl. Some thought I was a guy. I couldn't even say that I was a girl because I felt like maybe I'll be distracting on what I was attending on the lady.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that. So you were about 13 when you found out, like you lesbian.
Yes.
Now tell me about your family. When you eventually came out to your family, and I don't particularly like this term of coming out, because, you know, as heterosexual people, we don't come out.
Yes.
You know, we're allowed to just continue to date and go on with our lives, where else with the LGBTQIA community,
yes,
you have to come out. And I think we need to get rid of that, but that's a story for another day. So when you decided to tell your family, this is who you are, how was it received? I mean, did you receive any backlash? What happened? Talk us through that time of you telling your family who you are. What happened?
Actually, I didn't tell them.
You didn't?
There was a girlfriend of mine who was coming from Eastern Cape visiting the site. And then also she didn't know that I was a girl. And then when I left visiting a friend in Soweto, that's when that girlfriend of mine visited my sister next door. And then she was busy saying, I'm looking for Sakhile, where is he? And my sister was like, no,
he's a girl.
He's a girl. He's not a he, she's a she. So that's when they started noticing, okay, all these girls who are coming in, going out in that room, which means this person is dating ladies. Mm. That's when then they arranged a meeting for me to talk to me. And then I went there. When they were busy talking, I didn't give them a chance to even say anything, because by then I had a letter from police station to say they mustn't even do anything or touch my stuff. Sure. They must just leave me the way I am. So that's why I say sometimes it was spiritually needed. So when it came to they didn't have a way. Then the next thing that happened is like I didn't have access to school fees, to such things, which is a problem to our community. That's why we don't have a backbone, a serious foundation in LGBTQIA plus community. Because of that, we get it. We get lost when it comes to that, when parents turn their backs onto us and think that maybe this is a game and not understanding exactly. And also, just a little bit to go to coming out. There's no such coming out. You must just mentor and understand your kid right there when that kid is born. That's when that kid, you should understand that kid. Than asking us now in this time to say come out. It's late for coming out, because when you gave birth to me, that's where I'm coming out to you. The thing that our parents need to do now is to just understand us growing up, learning to understand who we are. That's when they would understand that come out that they need us to explain to them.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you touched on that, because a lot of us, we don't like to learn more.
For sure.
You know, we're not so open-minded. And I think it's very important for us to start having these conversations, because at the end of the day, this is the reality of you know, who we are as people, as a community. And so avoiding them doesn't help. You know, we need to empower ourselves with information, empower ourselves with communication, because I believe communication is also a big part of it.
It's the key.
Now, in regards to that, when it comes to the LGBTQIA plus community, there's a lot of gender-based violence that takes place there that we don't talk about, that doesn't get the spotlight that it deserves. And especially in South Africa, I mean, recently we have seen there's been an increase, you know, of murders that are happening. Things like corrective rape that happens, especially with lesbians, yes, where lesbians are actually raped in trying to change them, to make them straight. I mean, do you feel that society, do you feel that the judicial system, the government is doing enough to protect your community, or do you feel like you're not taken serious enough?
For me, I feel like we are not taken seriously enough because, and these rape that tend to happen, sometimes people don't understand that to other people, it takes time for them to understand who they are. You can get that some lady can get involved with a guy, and then during that process of that relationship, then that person tend to understand that no, I'm more interested in women than I am in men. And then from there on, that person will try to withdraw from that relationship to start moving on to understand the new relationship on whatever that person wants. That's when the violence comes out, because those men, those guys, they tend to have that hate that they are left behind. Now there's a lesbian involved. Why was I left behind? They don't understand that you don't just get born and know yourself that I'm gay, I'm lesbian. We're not the same. To some people it's like that. To some it takes time. Some realize after marriage, after everything has happened, after kids. But it's just that people have to have patience and to learn to understand themselves, because what happened is just we get into this world, we understood that a man should be involved with a woman. It's supposed to be like that. And then when time goes on, that's when people come to relax and calm down and understand themselves. That's where the confusion comes from. Women now start to attack bush lesbian for taking their women and so forth.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you shared that, because I've never really thought about it, that way, that, here's a man that's in a relationship with a woman, and now this woman is saying, I'm in love, with another woman.
Yes.
And so probably it's a matter of they feel that their ego is bruised, and that they're not men enough. And so what they do is they turn to violence to try and fix, for lack of a better word, I'll say, to fix the situation. So thank you for sharing that. Now, in terms of gender-based violence itself, as a lesbian living in South Africa, a country with one of the highest rates of gender-based violence, what experience have you had with that? What did you go through? What are some of the challenges that you've gone through as a member of the LGBTQIA community, as a lesbian, as somebody that survived gender-based violence? Talk us through what your experience was like.
It's been a lot, hey? But I'm having a problem also on that when I'm traveling, when going to, it's not only men, when going to a restroom, you find out that you go to that restroom, there's women inside. Also, they're like, you're in the wrong toilet. You must understand, we need our private. It's women. They don't even ask you, they just attack you coming there. So that's the other thing that I have a big problem when traveling, when I need to use a restroom. And also, when just walking around with your partner, sometimes it brings so much hate in men. I don't know why, how. Just to walk around, not even touching. Also having a big problem in different tax ranks. If you find out that you're working with your girlfriend, maybe trying to assist her, they will start marking you and making those funny, funny comments to you and all that. So for us, that's why people will see us as people like who likes to be set aside in plenty of things. No, it's just that our life is difficult because we've been defending ourselves. From us knowing who we are, we're defending ourselves. For you looking for a job, you're defending yourself. For you doing anything, you have to defend yourself. For you in a relationship, you have to defend on yourself. But also in our relationship, we don't have a smooth relationship because the foundation of us growing up is not smooth at all. We also have our own GBV happening in our relationship as the LGBTQIA community.
Sure.
Because when you think of it, you come out and say, I'm a lesbian. And then you come across plenty of negativity that is coming out from people. Now you grow up, you try to push life, you get to a relationship, you get that person who is right for you. Again, that hatred that you grew up having, it comes to your relationship also, and it does affect. And then we find out there are now couples in our community that are hitting each other. Now the community is saying, yeah, it's just because they don't understand what they are saying. It's just that because we need therapy from school, from primary school. If you know, in any primary school or high school, there's a kid who is a lesbian or gay, I think the government should assist in that by mentoring that, for us also to have a good backbone, to have a bright future, because I think we get messed up there for us to not have a balance in life.
Sure, I'm so glad you know, there's a couple of things that you spoke about that that touched me, that I feel are very important. I mean, the one thing, it's more about acceptance, you know, being able to accept people for who they are, you know, from an early age. And the fact that because you are so marginalized and so excluded, you have to build your own communities. And it got me thinking to, you know, places like the Gay Club, South Africa, for instance, you know, they have to start their own clubs because they feel safer there. Because when they go to a club that's mixed, you're often attacked and you have to stand against these, you know, vile comments and all of that. And so for me, it's about acceptance. You know, it's about looking at other human beings as exactly that, as human beings, and not, you know, judging somebody by their sexual orientation. And I've always said that your sexual orientation doesn't determine the kind of person that you are. It doesn't determine your character, because we have people that are straight, that are heterosexual, but they are murderers, they are abusers, you know, they are pedophiles. And so why then do we go on that the way that we are, you know, where we are excluding certain communities? So having said that, if right now there's somebody listening out there, there's somebody watching this episode, maybe even the president is watching.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you would like for people to know in terms of what you go through on the daily and how we can make a difference? Because for me, that's the important thing, being able to make a difference and forging a way forward so that we can all kind of, you know, live in harmony, because at the end of the day we have to, you know.
For real.
Yeah.
I think we need to go back to Ubuntu ngobuntu ngabantu. Let's not look at that person and judge that person and get done with that person. We also human beings. We also loving people. If you are given time, I think the community and everybody can see how talented in different ways our communities it is. I think we also need to be given time, even if we are going for interviews, for people to not look at us and judge us for who we are, but look at those certificates and those academic certificates that we have, not by looking at us or judging us by the way we look. I think we need to change that, and also we need our own community, the LGBTQIA+ community, to be given in different sectors. Like in different police stations, there must be a gay or a lesbian who will attend those gay and lesbian people, because I think people got this stigma of not giving us time and not listening. That's why most cases in our community, they are not taken seriously because of that judgmental. You know, people must just accept you. If you were not supposed to be here, God was not gonna put us in this world to be here. And there is nothing wrong with us. It's just that people just have to accept us and allow us to shine and show the community exactly who are we and what we are here in this world as everybody else is here to do.
And your contribution, because ultimately, you know, I mean, you work, you contribute towards the economy of the country, towards society, I mean, you run a food scheme in Alexandra, so you are feeding people that don't have food, you know, regardless of your orientation. And so, yeah, it's very important that we create awareness and we start having these conversations. So now, in closing, I just want to know what's next for Sakhile. What are you up to? I mean, you do a lot of stuff as it is already, you know, but I'm sure there's other things that, you know, that you're planning, you know, that you are looking forward to. So yeah, what are you up to?
Okay, Sakhile, right now I'm busy with waiting for my documents for Isabelo Summer Africa for my NPO, as I'm busy doing a feeding scheme in Alexandra, in next to Boxer, in another scrapyard there. I'm also assisting my theatre cast spiritually, and for them to understand, because what I've understand having that theatre cast is that most household now they don't teach their kids to pray. You know, people are out there looking for miracles to happen. I don't know how. We forgot to go back there. So in Isabelo Summer Africa, I'm there to assist my community, the alphabet community, and also women and children to have a bright life. Because for me, I feel like umuntu wesimame, if she's not taken care of, there's nothing that will change. That's why we have too much abuse, too much killing, and too much everything that is happening outside there is because of umuntu wesimame akaphathekanga kahle. So for me, I'm fighting right now when I get those documents for me to have a inner healing session for women, whereby I'll have a therapy session for those women, and I'm also asking for funding for me to be able to take those women out to a certain lodge there and have them for 5-6 days, have them heal therapy-wise, emotionally, personally, and have them to talk, make over, and then take them out there, and also have them balance financially, because most women stay in those abusive relationships because of finances, not knowing the way forward. Because once you are abused, your mind get blocked.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know where to go, what to do, and so forth. So in Isabelo Summer Africa, I'm fighting to ukulungisa umuntu wesimame eMzansi, because I see ukuthi kudinga ukuthi siqale lapho ukuthi silungise umuntu wesimame ukuze ikusasa lethu libe kahle ne-tomorrow yethu ibe kahle.
And siyabonga for your contribution. Siyabonga that, you know, you do your best to uplift and empower our communities, abo mama, you know, and women, because women are still very marginalized in the world that we live in. So Siyabonga, thank you so much for your time today. We wish you all the best for all your future endeavors, and you know, we will invite you back because we want to catch up and see, you know, between now and, you know, in a couple of months from now, you know, what have you been up to. And I just wanted to say to everybody at home, everybody that is watching, that, you know, remember that at the end of the day, we are all human beings, and your sexual orientation doesn't determine your character. And we need to judge less and be more compassionate and have more empathy as human beings, so that we can all learn to live together in harmony and live in the kind of South Africa that we all want to live in. Siyabonga Sakhile for isikhathi sakho, and thank you everybody at home for watching. Please tune in next week again every Thursday right here on my digital platforms. That is Silence Hides Violence South Africa, SHV South Africa, where silence is not golden, and we want to break the silence on gender-based violence. It's a wrap. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.